The very first thing that we're taught about in Parshas Chukas is the Parah Aduma. This Parah Aduma is known as the red heifer. It is a completely red cow. Qualifications are that it has to be perfect. Asher ein ba mum, no blemishes. And there's another qualification, which is Asher lo Allah aleha ol. It didn't have a yoke ever placed on it. If it was perfect, if it didn't have even one hair that wasn't red, but it had a yoke placed on it at one time during its life, no longer. If it never had a yoke placed upon it, but there was a small blemish somewhere on the animal, no good. It had to have both of these qualifications. So, what was the purpose of the Parah Aduma? Well, the Parah Aduma was used after it was slaughtered and after it was burnt, and its ashes were taken and mixed with water and then sprinkled upon a person who had become ritually impure in order to purify the person. So, for all of us who are ritually impure, the only way by which, very soon, please God, when the Beis HaMikdash is rebuilt, for us to be able to go to the Beis HaMikdash, to be on the property of the Beis HaMikdash, the campus of the Beis HaMikdash, we will have to be sprinkled with this water, these ashes. But how does the concept of the Parah Aduma apply to us now? Is there anything that we can take away from this mitzvah that we can somehow apply to our lives? And Chozeh Milublin, Zecher Tzadik Livracha, says, absolutely yes. He says, take these qualifications of the Parah Aduma and apply it to us as human beings. He says, Asher ein ba mum. If there is a person out there who thinks to themselves that I don't have a mum, that I don't have a blemish, that I don't have an imperfection, then you know what the reason is that a person would think that way? Because Asher lo Allah aleha ol. Because that person never had upon him or her the yoke of heaven. Never had upon him or her the sincere connection with the divine, with Hashem in their lives. So you say, well, how could that be? There could be a person who davens 3 times a day, a person who's a tremendous Baal Chesed, and yet you're saying that that person, because they think that they don't have any imperfections, they are not connected with God? How could that be? And so answers the Chozeh Milublin, the only way that we could really connect with Hashem, who is perfect, is by recognizing the fact that we are human and that we are imperfect, which really makes us contemplate and think about, are we in denial of our own imperfections? When someone points something out to us about ourselves, about a mum that we have, about a blemish that we have, are we in denial? Or are we able to say, yeah, sometimes I do that and I need to work on it? Or do we just say, I'm not talking to that person anymore. They're just not nice to me. And they're lying because they're saying negative things about me. Even though they're trying to be constructive and they're trying to help us. And these person may even be people who are very, very close to us. How do we react and respond to them when our imperfections are pointed out to us? And not even by other people, but even by ourselves. When we recognize things in our own behavior, and yet we fail to stop and say, I can't do this anymore. We fail to say, I struggle with this. And instead we are in denial and just continue that behavior. So in order for us to really have Hashem in our lives, the first thing we have to do is become humble. We have to move away from the sense of arrogance that somehow has seeped into us and move toward a place of self-awareness, recognizing our imperfections and hoping that we grow every single day in becoming better people, and by doing so, becoming greater Yirei Shamayim, greater servants of Hashem, and making the world an even better place than it was when we came into it. Thank you for listening, and have a good Shabbos.